Hey guys, we are planning the month of October today, and fun fact, I actually already recorded this entire voiceover and got to the end of it and realized that I wasn't actually recording anything. So this is the second time I've gone through all of this. So hopefully I don't forget anything. So for this month, I used my normal shop that I get my monthly kits from. I will try to remember to link that down in the description. And I wanted to include my weekly plan with me again this month, but Goodnotes has been super glitchy the last few days. I had to update the app twice and restart my iPad a ridiculous number of times to try to fix it. It was forced closing multiple times, and then it wouldn't load anything until I restarted my iPad completely, so that got old really fast. Once I got to the point where I got that to stop, the pen tool was glitching a lot, like the lines would break and end up all the way across the page, which drives me crazy when that happens. I'm sure if you've used Goodnotes a substantial amount, you probably know what I'm talking about, because it happens to me fairly often. So on my weekly page, that's not going to be in here, but I am going to throw it in at the end, so I'm going to talk about it real quick. I used a Planning to Prosper kit this time. I really like her options and how she has the widgets that you can save in your elements and use for every kit she makes, particularly her functional stickers and stuff like that. I think they're great, but I don't often like her deco stuff. I don't like her icons or her fonts. You won't see much of those in my spread, but I do really like most of the things that are in her kits. But I am planning on changing up my themes each week this month for some fun different options. Like I have a Hocus Pocus kit and a couple of witchy themes, which I thought would be fun to use, so I'll change it up quite often this month. This is one of my favorite times of year, so I'm going to be a little extra from now until the end of the year. We've got Halloween, which we love. We're about to decorate our house this week, and I'm super excited, especially having a historical home. It's so much fun to decorate our house. And then after Halloween, we get into like the last bit of fall, and the colors have changed, and it's starting to get chilly. And then Christmas time, which is one of my favorite holidays, probably second to Halloween. October to December is really my favorite time of the year. Another note on Planning to Prosper, I use her planner, but I don't really like the daily layout in it, so I haven't used it in a long time. But now that I'm back to the time of year where I really need to like micromanage my schedule as far down as each day because I have a lot going on, I really need that back again. So I was thinking about it the other day, trying to figure out if there was a way for me to change the template on each of the pages so that I could possibly create like a transparent overlay for the new color changing template options in Goodnotes. I played around with that a little bit, and it turns out that that's not possible without losing the hyperlinks, which is what I was hoping to avoid. Instead, I just took a screenshot of the section of the daily page that I wanted to fill with something else, and I took that into Canva and I created a new template with all of the things that I need on it. So that specifically has like a daily schedule that I can plan out. It's got my work tasks and my HB90 project tracking in the middle of it, tasks I need to do at home, and then just a place for me to keep track of what my moods are each day and like my energy throughout the day. As I'm yawning. So for our September, we had some really busy weekends, but it was a pretty low-key month. We hosted for the historic home tour in our town. 2 of the people we knew were on it this year. I was really nervous about it at first, especially because I got sick the week before and I was concerned I was going to lose my voice. But after more than 5 hours of talking on that weekend, I still had it at the end, thankfully. But I was nervous about having to present in front of a bunch of people because each house has facts written down for you to tell others when they walk through the house. I actually really enjoyed it. It brought me back to like my theater and drama and speech days in high school. I'll probably do it again. I had a fun family session back at the farm I took photos at in July. That was in my vlog, and the photos turned out super cute. I'm gonna throw in a couple of videos and photos here because my husband has actually been going with me to take behind the scenes videos of me to use on both YouTube and on my social media to create some reels on Instagram and stuff while I'm working, which is so much fun. I never really got these before. The only time I would get them is like when I shot wedding days and stuff, which is not what I'm shooting anymore, and so that's not what I want to feature at all. I don't shoot weddings unless it's for somebody that I know anymore. It's just families for right now. Obviously, I want some things that are going to show me photographing families, and it's really nice that I get to have him come along with me and do that, and I love looking through them afterward. It lets people see like the process behind what the photos turn out. We also frantically moved out of our storage unit. We gave them a date that we were going to be out by, and then my parents weren't able to let us use their truck until a certain point, so we kind of had to do everything at the last minute, and my brother ended up helping us, so which was nice because that made it a lot easier. We brought home a ridiculous amount of furniture that we didn't have room for, so we were climbing over things in our entryway for a while. There was a lot of stuff in there from my husband's old apartment and my studio that I don't have anymore. So we ended up having to clean out part of the basement so that some of the stuff could go down there. So it felt great to get rid of some stuff that we'd been holding on to for entirely too long. I did get rid of some of the furniture too, but a lot of it we're not quite sure what we're going to do with yet. So we want to just put it down in the basement to deal with at another point. But basement's still full for the most part. It's just not quite as full as it was before, but now there's just a bunch of furniture down there, so that's great. And then for my mom's birthday the other night, to go see Teresa Caputo, which was really neat. A friend of mine is a medium, so it wasn't anything new for me, but for a couple of them it was. Either way, it was a really cool experience getting to watch her do these readings for other people and then see what came up from it. There were a couple in particular that were really striking to me. Actually, speaking of my friend Jessica, she's the one that's the medium, and we filmed the video together this past weekend, so stay tuned for that because I'm really excited about it. We filmed it specifically for Halloween in downtown Marshall, and then talking about some of my experiences that I've had with her. So for this month, I just started a new quarter for HB90, which I'm pretty excited about. The last 2 quarters of following the plan has really allowed me to dial in on my time frames for how long certain things take me. I'm pretty confident about how long I've given myself and how many projects I'm going to be able to get done. It always feels good to accomplish something and to be able to follow a plan and follow through with it, because that's one of the hardest parts for me. Tony wants to take us to Glenmore Trails Haunted Forest next week for date night. He saw it online and he thought it looked really cool, and we've always talked about going to the Electric Forest, which is a really neat festival with ridiculously cool light effects and psychedelic sights and stuff, and it's like a music festival, so there's also music going on the entire time. But I don't know, he saw a picture of it and he was like, hey, this kind of reminds me of that, like this might be cool to go do. There's no music or anything, it's just like a lit up forest that's themed for Halloween, but I thought it was cute how he wanted to take me to it, so we're gonna go to that. We're also planning to go see a shadow cast of Rocky Horror on Halloween weekend, which I'm really excited about. I've wanted to go to one for a really long time and I've never been able to. I think I had tickets for one at one point, but whoever I was going with, I can't remember if it was like my ex-husband or if it was a friend of mine or something. They ended up not being able to go, so I decided I didn't want to go by myself at that point. This will be the first time that I've gone to something like that, and Rocky Horror is like such a campy, fun movie to watch at Halloween. I've got the entire soundtrack memorized. I've been watching it, listening to it since I was in high school, and I'm so giddy about it. I'm gonna have such a good time. Other than that, we've just got our typical fall Halloween festivities. We've got a couple of Halloween parties, which are all on the same night, so we'll see how that goes. As far as Goodnotes updates, there was an improvement that they made. There's now an option to arrange items, so you can move things to the front and to the back. You still can't move them between individual layers if there's more than 2 of them, but it's already proving to be so helpful for me when I'm trying to put my spreads together, because then that way I don't have to cut and paste everything. I can just like quick select it and then hit the arrange button and then either bring to front or send to back, which is really nice. However, there are still quite a few issues since I upgraded to Goodnotes 6. Like I said before, I had to update the app twice just while doing this plan with me over the course of like 6 hours, I think. I tried to work on it at one point and then kept getting frustrated because it was happening, so I set my iPad down for the night, and when I woke up the next morning there was already a new update, so I updated it again. Still kept having the issues, but they weren't as problematic as they were before. Since I finished this, I haven't had it happen again, so I'm hoping they fixed it. It kept force closing and then it wouldn't want to load or open back up again. In order to fix it, I would have to restart my iPad, and then it would fix it for like an hour or half an hour, and then it would start again, so then I'd start all over again. That was really frustrating. I wanted to get this video out a few days ago and I wasn't able to because I had to stop working for 2 days because I couldn't get it to work properly. I ended up finding a workaround to not being able to paste things in an area that has hyperlinks or like text that wants to highlight itself. If you switch to the text tool first, even if you're not pasting text, it'll still let you paste in whatever you're trying to copy and paste. One of the recent updates seemed to have fixed it, but then when I started having the issue with the force closing and I had to update it again, it came back. It's not as bad as it was before, but it's still an issue. I've also been having issues with iCloud Sync not working. I know it's like a prominent issue. Many people are having problems with it. Mine had gotten turned off entirely in the settings, so I had to set it back up again, and then it still wasn't working. So I'm not sure what's going on. When I went in to update the app the other day, it looked like one of the previous app updates had fixed that problem, but I haven't gone in to play with it to see if it has actually fixed it or not. I just know that, like, especially if I end up getting an iPad mini at any point, like, I was trying to get to my planner from my phone the other day and I didn't have my iPad with me, and it was really frustrating that I couldn't get to the information I was looking for because it hadn't updated since I upgraded to Goodnotes 6, which I didn't even realize until that point because most of the time I only access it on my iPad. All of a sudden when I get in there and I see it hasn't backed up in like 2 months almost, it was a little concerning. We'll see what ends up happening with that. It also hadn't backed up to my Google Drive at all either, which is like my fail-safe backup for if something ever happens to my Goodnotes and all of a sudden I lose access to my documents. Like, that's my way of justifying to myself using a digital planner instead of like a paper one. Then that way, if something ever happened to the app or something ever happened to my iPad, I have all of those somewhere. So it's worrying to me that I don't have those backing up there anymore, so I need to play with it to see what's going on.
Cancer called me today. Gonna take your loved ones away. It's time their minds don't live here anymore. They've been sold, raped, torn, now old. Do we go? Help me get into the shower. It's been 100,000 minutes past the hour. The fuse refused to stop this burnout. Hey, tango de la muerte. Now to the crowd. Ooh, ooh, so fast yet slow. Gonna go in now. Surf the void on blood. I'll see you later when the flash floods come. I'll see you later when the seas run. Gonna steer away now. Take a turn around death. Worry less, no more numbing stress. Worry less, let them have my flesh. Your medicines won't win this war. No. Great neck, have your pick. Oh, the library of souls awaits. Hey, tango de la muerte, couldn't serve my plate. I'm gonna go away now. Surf the void on blood. I'll see you later when the floods come. I'll see you later
finished spreads for this month. I am such a huge fan of Halloween, and I love how they turned out so much. I really love the bold colors on the monthly spread, and I really liked how the pastel-y, more muted colors turned out on my weekly spread. I'm super excited for Halloween. I'll have a video up of us decorating our house and the video with Jessica in the next couple of weeks. Probably going to be a lot more active with like more lifestyle stuff during the month of October and the month of December. So I'm really looking forward to that. I will see you in the next one. Happy fall.